Bring Her Back is the film that I am talking about today. It was directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, the same duo who brought us Talk to Me from 2023, and is about a brother and a sister who were put into a foster home after the sudden passing of their father. The foster mother is housing another child named Oliver, and something ominous is happening at this foster home. It's going to be really hard to not talk about spoilers, but I'm going to give it my best attempt. Sally Hawkins is amazing in this movie as the foster mom who is dealing with some serious issues herself. It is strange to me that the film tries to paint her as some kind of empathetic soul for our siblings, but we know in the first 5 minutes of meeting her that things are just off. We just don't know what yet. The child, Oliver, that she is housing, never speaks, disappears into his room for what seems like dozens of hours per day, hangs out outside during the rainstorms, and she has a stuffed dog on full display in the front of the house. So my guard was never let down with her character. If you're a frequent visitor of the website Does the Dog Die to get your information about animals dying in movies, don't worry with this one. There is a dead chicken late in the film, but you never see it die. There's also a cat in the movie that is symbolic with its themes, but it is not harmed, so if you're squeamish to that stuff, you should be okay. The brother character is extremely protective of her younger sister. They have a phrase they use with each other to indicate how the other is doing. The relationship between the siblings is understated, but filled with enough emotion that we care about them just as a unit. The sister is the least developed character of the lot. She has a cane that she is supposed to use, but she doesn't ever use it so people don't make fun of her. There is really not much individual character behind her other than that. I guess maybe it's because they didn't want to exploit blind people. I'm not sure the motivation behind that. The horror and gore in Bring Her Back is gnarly and amazing. This is a slow burn horror film, so if you want wall-to-wall noise and constant scares, then this is not the movie for you. It takes its time and expects you to follow it all the way through. Just like in their last film, they are masters of ramping up tension to a boiling point before jolting us with some crazy imagery. The camera work on display in this movie is fresh, fluid, and alive. I talk a lot on this channel about films being alive with their camera work, and this is very alive and isn't shot in ways that come off as gimmicks either. You understand why we have, for example, a shot of someone's face half in and half out of a swimming pool. Yet it is filled with such an energetic style that I was never bored just observing the images themselves. I rewatched Talk to Me right after seeing this to remind myself of it all, and that is a good ass movie, holy crap. It has a strong foundation and core surrounding the lead character and is committed all the way to it. That film to me was metaphors about drug usage and coping with losing someone you love, filtered brilliantly through the spirit gimmick. Talk to Me is cohesive, well written, and has an incredible central performance that helped keep it all grounded. Bring Her Back, sadly, seems to be a film that is swinging for the fences and doesn't quite connect all the way for me. When it comes to the thesis of these types of movies, the gold standards for me are The Babadook and Hereditary. Both great films that convey the message of grief so strongly, and they never lose that central focus. With Bring Her Back, I worry that the brothers took the message of grief and spread it across too many characters, and thus give us no central figure to really latch onto. Most of the story is told from the perspective of the brother character. He lifts weights quite a lot, he really loves his sister, and he has some sort of past about him that we can figure out. But we are left in the cold about it for a long time, and eventually we are told what it is. That wouldn't bother me if the film wasn't told through his eyes, or if every other character is also very cold for a long time as well. One thing that made the film Presence work so well for me is that it showed the familial aspect before showing us the thesis. In Bring Her Back, there is no such camaraderie or much interplay between the main characters. There is supposed to be an antagonistic relationship between the foster mother and the brother, however, it does not grow organically. There's a sequence early on where the siblings are downing shots of alcohol with her, but it came off as hollow from the jump because we know there is something off well before this alleged bonding moment occurs. It felt like the filmmakers were more concerned with the behavior more than the insight. I barely mentioned the third child in this equation, Oliver, and that's because he is an enigma until late in the film. and I was already getting frustrated before that happens. There are sequences involving watching home videos and a swimming pool that are meant to invoke the mood the picture is going for, but when we finally get what the meaning of it all is, I didn't feel an organic sense of discovery. It felt like characters were discovering things only when the story decided it was time for them and us to learn them. There's even a part where an innocent bystander is made aware of odd behaviors in the film, and the picture had written itself into a corner with that, where it only had two possible outcomes with that situation, and both unfortunately were cliches. It aggravated me so much because this film is trying to be great, and has a strong core message about people dealing with grief, and how the relationship one person had with one person may not be the same kind of relationship another person had with that person. It may sound complicated, sorry, I'm trying not to spoil anything. I think the themes in this movie are so strong, but the film decides to paint broad brushstrokes instead of getting into the real meat of dealing with grief. All the images are amazing. The music is great, invoking the dark and drag mood, and the performances are all strong, but I felt not enough insight was given for how everyone is dealing with these new realities. The ending also left me feeling incredibly frustrated. It felt like the filmmakers ran out of road for their story and were saying, well, we need to end the movie some way, so we'll just throw in some random fight and everyone will just land conveniently where they need to land, and we'll call it good. The last 15 minutes felt so rushed to me, which is strange because it felt like the first hour and 20 minutes or so were paced well with the horror but not the insight of the characters. In case you couldn't tell, this movie is a severe mixed bag for me. I know that this will be an audience-pleasing film, and I'm sure critics will like it in equal measure as well, but I feel that the story tried to juggle one too many stories and didn't come off as cohesive as a result. I may need to do a spoiler review of this movie to explain what rubbed me the wrong way, but here I'll just say that the behavior by the foster mother character has a level of diabolical that I gravitated towards strongly, but the way the children react seemed too studied for my liking. Would I recommend this movie? I mean, yes. There's a sequence in a kitchen that is among some of the most disturbing things I've seen in a good while, so the horror is there from an entertainment level, but I think it falls all over itself when it comes to the pathos it's trying to convey. I need to watch it again, and maybe something will click for me that didn't click for me the first time through, but after sitting on it for 12 hours since I've seen it, I've come to the conclusion that the Philippou brothers have an amazing talent for camera work, building great tension, and getting amazing performances out of their actors. But I feel the story doesn't match how great everything else is in the movie. So I ultimately feel that it is a step back from Talk to Me. I say see it and make up your own mind, but I think this is a movie that is enjoyable on an initial viewing, but like with Long Legs from last year, will not hold up to scrutiny once people start thinking about it on a deeper level. I give Bring Her Back 2.5 stars out of 4. It has it with the horrifying images and the tension, but it lacks the organic growth I seek. It feels like it spins its wheels in areas where we could have had gotten some key character dynamics. A close miss for me, and I hope they can approach their next project with the determination they did with their first film, and add in the great intensity of this film. Okay, so Bring Her Back. Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Do you have any thoughts on it? Please let me know. I only picked this movie apart so much because it could have been a transcending movie with just a little more focus, in my opinion. Anyway, if you like this, please like and subscribe. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.